look at your forecast. We'll get a check of the radar again. Then we're going to look at the weather models, and we're going to really start to dig into the Ben at 10 show this morning. We've got another good morning from Erica and a good morning from Charlestown. Cloudy but cool. Loving this weather. Lily and Lasley, good morning. Looks like it's going to rain at my house. Yeah, we got a lot of cloud cover across the area right now. So there's that chance of showers today. Just pack the umbrella just in case. Some occasional pop-up showers and thunderstorms today through Wednesday. A little bit random in nature, so the models don't do a real good job at timing them out. But just know that there's that chance. Not going to be a washout. And then I've just highlighted normal because our temperatures are basically at or below normal for this week. Kind of normal humidity levels, nothing extreme here for us, which we had through much of July. So really not a bad looking outlook over the next 7 days. The play ball forecast, there is that chance for a few passing showers. Looking at temperatures in the low 80s this afternoon, so not hot, just warm. With a tad more humidity out there, and our temperature staying about 5 or 6 degrees below normal, giving it a 30% chance of that shower for today, which is a light east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles per hour with the clouds around, dropping that UV index to a 5. So not as easy to get a sunburn for today. The forecast summary for your August 4th, spotty showers, mostly cloudy, 83, sunset now before 8:50 at 8:49. Shower possible tonight, low 69 degrees. Notice when you get warmer nights, that means you get a little more humidity in the air and almost no breeze overnight. The forecast here for tomorrow, your Tuesday, August the 5th, upper 60s out the door and 78 at noon, and about a 30% chance of that shower or thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon with a high up to 84 degrees. The 7-day forecast, we've got 85 Wednesday with another chance for a few showers and thunderstorms. Notice I've dropped the chance of precipitation for the rest of the weekend into the weekend. Very, very small, really isolated in nature if we get an afternoon pop-up shower. And no severe weather this week. We're looking at upper 80s Thursday, Friday, and then near 90 as we head through the weekend, which is still, again, pretty much near normal for this time of the year. So we will take that. Not too shabby at all. And we're looking here at the live look outside again here in Uptown, New Albany. Live broadcast right out of New Albany here this morning. That is the corner of Vincennes and Market. And it's probably looking similar out your window. There is a good deal of clouds across the area this morning. And we can take a look at that cloud cover with the radar and satellite together. So you can see a good deal of that cloud cover coming up from the south. And this is what we call an inverted trough. So up through here, the center of the trough, and a trough will bring unsettled weather. It'll be the kind of the kicker for some showers and thunderstorms. Typically, your trough is going to come from the north like that, and the center of that trough will pop up some showers and thunderstorms. But it's coming from the opposite direction, which you a lot of times will get in the summertime. So that is why we have just a few showers out there as we look at the live radar sweep. We're still looking at most of this light rainfall around Paoli to French Lick and then up towards Mitchell and Orleans. You guys also have a little bit of that rain. Some of that rain was passing through New Albany and other parts of southern Indiana this morning, but not a whole lot out there at this time. So we'll go ahead and start to bring up that weather model data and look ahead here for you. As we often do, we'll bring up the HRRR weather model, the HRRR High Resolution Rapid Refresh Weather Model. And maybe look at the NAM 3 kilometer. We'll look at maybe some hope, not that we need relief because this is kind of normal humidity back this week, but if we want just a shot of some refreshing air, cross our fingers, there's maybe a chance next midweek, not this week, but next week. The Euro wants to keep us real muggy next week. The Canadian and the GFS American weather model bring us a better shot of a little bit of a cool down mid next week. So that's kind of one of the fun things that we'll be looking at day by day to see if we can bring some of that relief our direction later on. All right, again, as I mentioned, let me just go ahead and bring up the future radar here. And we've got Perry Porter with a good morning, running a little bit late, but I'm here now. Nice shower out there this morning. Yeah, good to wet the grass a little bit. I had to drag the hose out yesterday because everything was getting a little bit dry. Juanita Stivers, thanks for watching here this morning. Thanks for dropping in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from as well. All right, so now we got the future radar up. Let me go ahead and pop up the HRRR. So this weather model updates about every hour, or does update every hour. And it's showing, a little bit of this activity that's across the area right now. So it's doing a decent job as far as the initialization of what's happening. As we look ahead, notice if there is a trend today. I say, some of this summertime activity is pretty random, but it looks like if there's a pattern here, west of 65, especially out towards Evansville, maybe up around Paoli and Bedford and out towards Vincennes, closer to the center of that trough of low pressure is a better chance of some of these scattered downpours today. That's at 1 p.m. But as we go into the later afternoon hours, this is around 4 or 5 o'clock. So notice that trend here west of 65 in Indiana, looking like the highest chance of some showers and thunderstorms. As we warm up later in the day, a few of these storms could be strong, not expecting severe weather, not expecting warnings, but maybe some lightning strikes and some very brief heavy rainfall out of that as well. And we've got Pat Bland from LaGrange. Thanks for tuning in there from Oldham County. So that's this afternoon at around 5 p.m. I'm going to take this to around 7 o'clock. And it shows we'll see if this actually happens. The other weather model is not this aggressive whatsoever. But it shows as we get towards sunset, early evening, a better chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area and some locally heavy rainfall. Some of you I know are back to wanting the rainfall. It has been a chaotic year. I, just like you, have at times wanted the rain to shut off, and then after a few days, you want the rain back. So it's been kind of a bipolar year as far as the rain, mostly pretty wet year. This is at 10 p.m. So after sunset, we'll likely see a lot of the shower activity fade away, but there could still be an isolated shower during the overnight. I would say that weather model is the most aggressive. I'll bring up a different weather model for today and back this up to right now. It's picking up on some of that activity right now out to the west. This is the the WRF weather model. And this is going into 3 o'clock this afternoon, 4 o'clock. So it's definitely looks a little bit different. It just has kind of a scattering of some downpours across the area, with maybe leaning a little bit more towards that trend west of I-65. This is around 7 o'clock, but it also kind of ramps up the activity a little bit as we head towards the 7 o'clock hour. And Vicky's saying, it looks like Washington County will get it good later. There's the potential. It's going to be kind of scattered, so there'll be kind of hit or miss variety. So some will get it, some won't. So that's the WRF weather model. We don't always look at 3 high-resolution weather models, but you're getting the bonus today. We're looking at the HRRR, the WRF, and now the NAM 3 kilometer. So this is, I'm going to back this view up to, this is right now. And it's picking up on a little bit of that activity west of 65 in Indiana right now. I'm going to take this to, say, 3, 4 o'clock. And it doesn't have a whole lot. Most of it just out to the west. The other weather models were ramping things up at around 7 to 8 o'clock. This is the driest solution of the weather models that has just a little bit of stuff out to our west. The truth might be a little bit somewhere in between, probably not as aggressive as the HRRR weather model, probably a little more aggressive than this weather model right here. With all of that said, I've got it at about a 30 or 40% chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. And again, not expecting severe weather with this. So this is looking around 10 p.m. with the NAM 3 kilometer. As we look to tomorrow afternoon, it's a very similar setup for us. We got a little bit of troughiness, which means we don't have a ridge of high pressure. So just a little bit of warmth. We get to the convective temperature. So you warm up enough to start convection. Convection is when you see that cumulus cloud growing. So you've got the rising air, and then it goes back down with the rain. So that's like a convection oven. So convection really just means thunderstorms or big cumulus clouds. So if we warm up to the convective temperature, say 83 or 84, then that might be all you need to get those parcels of air to start to rise and maybe turn into some downpours. So with all that said, that's why during the heat of the day, you get to that convective temperature, the air becomes more unstable, and then you start to see a few of those cumulus clouds shooting up into the air. So this is a tomorrow afternoon. It also shows a chance for a few of these showers and thunderstorms across the area. So tomorrow looks very similar to the weather that we've had out there today. Now, we mentioned, chance of some showers and thunderstorms. There are some folks that get a little nervous about the word storm, but it doesn't look like we need to be concerned with that. This is the look at the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. We are under what is just called general thunderstorms. It's not even a risk level. It's 0 out of 5. And just says a chance of like some garden variety showers and thunderstorms. And you got level 1 and 2, the darker green and the yellow up in Nebraska, southwestern South Dakota, and into Montana is where there's a chance of a few stronger thunderstorms for today. It's more their severe weather season this time of the year. As we look at day 2, so tomorrow's risk of severe weather, again, just a little bit of a risk up there around South and North Dakota. And day 3 is probably not going to, this is not a severe weather time of the season overall. And I hope that, you hope that trend continues into the fall season. But typically around, let's say late October and into November, you kind of get a second mini severe weather season. You can get some squall lines moving through and some strong thunderstorms around that time. And if you're just popping in a little bit late here, there's a little bit of activity in the tropics starting to kick up. This is Tropical Storm Dexter. And I can bring the satellite on here for you. And let's see what this looks like. There we go. So there you can see that system out in the Atlantic Ocean. It is a tropical storm, but an indication that the hurricane season is starting to ramp up with those warm water temperatures there in the tropics. And September 15th, right around there, is the peak of the hurricane season. So we're only a little over a month away from what is typically the peak of hurricane season. So that's a look at the weather across the United States. Now, we can go into the longer range future radar. I'm going to switch this into, actually, real quick, take a little drink of water here. Let's look at the nation's current temperatures. Nice and cool over the Pacific Northwest. And look around San Francisco, 57 degrees, 50s out west, so that's where the cool air is. The really tropical air down in Florida and the Gulf Coast, 84 in Jacksonville already. We're just getting a tad more humid, but our temperatures here aren't too bad whatsoever. They're in the lower 70s. But the comfort factor this time of the year really comes from the dew point temperatures that measure water content in the air. And so as I switch this over to the dew points, so remember I said inverted trough that helps kick up some showers and thunderstorms? Well, this is that inverted trough right there. So the middle of it's right here. And that's where we're seeing more of these showers out in southwestern Indiana right now. That also kind of opens the door to more humidity. So we're seeing a dew point of 70 out to the west of us in Evansville. And then we've got a 68 dew point in Louisville, still refreshing air over central Indiana, 61 dew point in Indianapolis, and really not bad there in Bloomington and Columbus at 64. But then again, you can see the more tropical air here. You get out towards Paoli, it's starting to feel more humid. And that's where we also find a few of these showers as well. So go back to the live radar scan. And there you can see that's in that inverted trough, in that muggier zone, we'll call it, is where we find some of those showers this morning. And that could be a focus later this afternoon, west of I-65 in southern Indiana, a little better chance of some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms. But the live radar view here, just west of Orleans and northwest of Paoli, some good downpours there. Mitchell getting in on that rainfall, and that rain kind of on Bedford's doorstep as well. So that is off to the northwest of Floyd and Clark County right now. Good question here, Vicki. Which model do you usually think is more accurate? I think the HRRR weather model, the HRRR, does a consistently better job. The WRF isn't bad. And then the NAM 3 kilometer, I think it does not quite as good of a job. But all the high resolution weather models, that meaning they go out 24 or 48 hours, and oftentimes they'll either update every hour or maybe every 6 hours, 3 to 6 hours. They're all fairly accurate, certainly more accurate than your mid-range, which is going to be your NAM weather model, or also there's a mid-range European weather model, mid-range Canadian weather model, and then the longer range you're going to get less accurate with the GFS or the European weather model. When you get to the longer range models, you're looking more at pattern recognition to see if we might get some of that drier air to move in, or maybe we head towards a general stormier weather pattern. But the GFS did a really good job timing out this last dry air spell that we had the last few days. Again, feeling awesome out there through the weekend. It timed that out like a week and a half out. So it did, in my opinion, a pretty good job timing out that break from the heat wave that we got. Now, as I go back to the weather models, since we're speaking of that, I'm going to bring up the precipitable water here with the GFS, and we'll take a look as here we go. In rate, Ted Ludwig, Louisville rain chances today. Yeah, I would say especially late afternoon, early evening, probably the best chance for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm, giving it about a 30% chance. So now that we're looking at the long range, here you go. It's been on a limb. Going out on a limb. That means it's time to look like a week or a week and a half out. So, all right, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and take this. So this is a look at the mugginess, the real tropical air. And this is really cool, by the way. I'm going to bring this up full screen. Why is this cool, Ben? Well, here's this tropical air. Notice how it gets wrapped up into Tropical Storm Dexter with that little spiral right there. This is getting more like normal humidity. It's not out of control. The yellow right there, that's just kind of normal humidity. We can deal with it. This stuff is what we had throughout all of July. You're sweating right away. But really cool how the model picks it up, wrapping into that Tropical Storm Dexter, which is out there in the Atlantic right now. So what we want to look at as we look ahead, when's the humidity going to get worse? So let's look, we'll just go tomorrow. We'll go the afternoons and just progress, and then we're going to try to find some relief as the humidity ramps up kind of day by day. So this is tomorrow afternoon. We're in the yellow. And the really tropical air is still south, and there you can see that little swirl out in the Atlantic. That is Tropical Storm Dexter. That's one day from now. Let's go 2 days out to August the 6th. We're heading into Wednesday here. You can still see that spiral, the tropical air south. We're just in normal summer air. We've got the yellow. So that means dew points in the 60s, maybe touching 70. It's not out of control mugginess. All right, so that is Wednesday. We go to the 7th, which is Thursday. Keeping the red south. We've got some yellow and green normal humidity. So normal is the key word. That was my weather headline. If you're on the show earlier, because really just normal week of weather here for August. Tropical air south over Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. And we have, again, normal humidity levels here. And so this is looking at the 8th. So this is Friday. When I say normal humidity levels, when we bring up the dew points, and here's the dew point map. So again, you're looking at some 65, 70 dew points, not crazy high like they are to the southeast. Okay, back to the precipitable water. Clear that off. And dew point, you're looking just at the surface. Precipitable water, you're adding up the moisture throughout the column of the atmosphere. So they do differ a little bit. And then as we go to Saturday the 9th, we're starting to see a little more humidity, green instead of yellow, but the core of the tropical air is still south. We're going into the 10th, which is Sunday. We're up to around 90 degrees by Sunday and starting to look a little more tropical, starting to see a little bit more of this pink color. So it's a slow ramp up with the humidity and the temperatures throughout this week. All right, so now we're like, all right, it's going to get more humid. When might we see another fall tease move into the area? So this is looking at Monday, not this Monday, next Monday. So we're back into the tropical stuff here. Ahead of fronts, you will get a south breeze that's picking up the Gulf moisture ahead of that front. But at least there's a front, perhaps, on the horizon. So here's what we're looking at. We'll see if this happens, by the way. This looks like a hurricane on the GFS weather model next Monday, north of Puerto Rico. We'll see if that happens. Big question mark with that. Back to this front here. So nice Canadian front. This would be all of that refreshing air. So that's Monday. How long is it going to take to get here? Let's go to Tuesday. It's closer. There's that front cutting through the Midwest into the Ohio Valley. Tuesday, August the 12th. Let's go August 13th. And it shows some relief. Now, I'm not highly confident that we'll get this. The European weather model does not bring in this relief. Let me bring up the dew points here and see what they show. But at least it gives us some hope, right? So this would be dew points back down to the 50s, just like we had last Friday, last Saturday. If cross our fingers, we would get some relief maybe next Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. Now, the Canadian weather model seemed to be on board with this. The European weather model kept it muggier for a lot longer. So that is your Ben on a limb in summary, hoping for some relief from the humidity that returns this week, middle next week. With that said, the humidity isn't necessarily out of control this week. We do not have a heat wave, just normal August weather. So that is your Ben on a limb segment right there for your Monday, August the 4th. All right, we'll bring back up another look at your forecast. We'll look at the live radar, and then we'll start to wrap things up here on this